On the bushes on the hill lived a little fairy. Every morning she'd stretch her wings and fly around singing songs to the flowers. Sleeping with the bees, or tickling birds. She stretched all her being to the sun and enjoyed the heat on her skin, her face, and her wings. And then she would always fly a little bit further out and hide in the rose bushes, looking through them into the village. She came here so she could see the humans. Peculiar creatures. She saw them wake up and share food. She saw mothers chase their children laughing, sometimes screaming. She saw kids roll in mud and play with rocks. Fathers return from a hunt. They'd sing and dance like fairies did, but in a different way. Sometimes they'll light a fire late at night, and they'd stomp the ground and call to Mother Earth. And in the morning that they'd give their praises and gratitude to Father Sky. And Fairy grew to love this. And every day, every moment she had, she'd come, hide in the bushes and watch them. Over time, the villages changed, and the mud huts became bigger skyscrapers. They cut out bushes and trees, so she had to go slightly further out to watch them. They started to plant and gather food. And with time, people in suits, not the kind they worn to work, but the kind they worn to space, would come to the land to harvest or spray something over it. She came closer one day and started to choke, so she had to fly out. It felt dangerous now, unsafe. They stopped singing and instead started to listen to the music that blasted from big cubes and then smaller ones they carried in their pockets. With time they stopped talking too. They no longer gathered in the circle. They stopped praying to Mother Earth and Father Sky, and perhaps even forgot they had it, for they built buildings that tall that only the reflection in glass walls of the sky could be seen, but not the sky itself. Pavements and stone walks replaced grass and flowers. And children stopped playing and running and chasing, and instead sat staring at moving pictures. And watching all this, Fairy grew sad. She liked humans as they were when she first met them. She liked that they could sing songs together and she could come close to them, sometimes even lighten their fire when they struggled. And as her rose bushes became further and further away from the village that now grew and became bigger and bigger, she wondered whether there was anything that she could do. And one day, she felt the Mother Earth reach out. She felt the Father Sky come closer, and both holding her hands, nodded. "It's time," said Mother. "It's time for you to go in." They lost their way, the way that you still remember. "For that," said the Father, "you will become one of them. But you will also stay a fairy. We wish not to take that away from you, for that is your essence." The Mother stretched her hands, in which a beautiful golden silk swayed gently in the wind. "Here," she said. "Take off your wings and put them here. We'll rub them gently and keep them in the rose bush." And so they did. And there she stood, fairy but no longer winged. The Father Sun shone his light, and she grew like a mushroom, so quick and big, to the size of a human. Golden hair that changed color to red and brown as it swayed gently in the wind and under the luminous sky. Your eyes, blue with green, like the planet Earth herself. A heart. She felt the heartbeat in her chest. Wow. What a beautiful feeling. With every beat, I am reminded of love, of my connection to earth and sky. "That is right," said Mother. "When you forget, just touch it and hear the beat. That is the drum that reminds you of where you come from. That reminds you of your beauty as a fairy, of your magic, of your kindness and lightness of being. Connect to your drum, and you will never lose your way in the human world." The fairy smiled. She was so excited. "And finally," said the Father, "you need some clothes." The winds came and the trees shook and the leaves glided towards her with grasses intertwining and webbing and everything moving in the wind as it was approaching her. As the leaves touched her, they draped off her body perfectly, as a glorious silk dress. Treasure it, said the mother, for this too is a sacrifice of the tree people and the grass people, for the wish for you to succeed so they too can come closer to the city, so they too find the way back into the village, and the village finds its way back to them. I'm ready, said the fairy, with wings gently placed in the rose bush amongst the petals of the roses. One last thing, said Mother Earth. If you ever forget your way, come back to the roses and smell them. Come back to the flowers and smell them. Come back to the trees and smell them. Hug nature, touch it. And smell the roses, the scent. The scent will awaken your wings. She hugged her parents and bravely stepped forward. She was going into the village. To live amongst humans as a fairy. To bring your inner magic and spread your wings. So wild nature and beauty returns. So the fire comes back, and the circles, and the songs, and the dance. So she reminds and teaches those that forgot how to honor the earth and how to honor the sky. And everywhere she went in the village, she planted rose bushes. So not just her, but the others too, could remember of their beauty as they smell them.